Hello, Sanford. You are listening to Sanford Sports Radio, and this is The Howler. I'm your man on the call, Jonathan West. And it is time, folks, to get ready for war, as NIU will be hosting Sanford this weekend, and this is pretty much the rivalry game in the MAC when you want to talk Sanford football. This has become one of the biggest feuds, in my opinion. It's 3-2, 2-1, the all-time record with NIU over top of Sanford. This game means a lot to these young men in the blue and silver. But let's talk about recruiting for a bit before we really get on to the rivalry game this week. As Byron Girard visited this week, and he had a good visit. It seems like he is very close to making a decision, and hopefully that decision is Sanford. Now, he is still talking over with Boston College and will visit them during one of their last games of the season. Eric Peters, on the other hand, the big athlete from Georgia, he visited last week as well, had a very, very good visit, and it seems like he's very interested now. However, I do believe he will still be extremely interested in his hometown school, Georgia. That's the one school that I fear that Peters will never say no to. Josh Williams, there's a new recruit on the board, the number 13 receiver in the nation, staying at 6'2", 197 at Columbus, Nebraska. He's been added to the recruiting board here, as Williams is a very, very good receiver. And I could see him really playing early on the outside along with Rob Thomas next year if he were to come here to Sanford. Now, that is a giant question mark now, but we're getting about the midpoint of the season, and no other school has offered him a scholarship. That is the giant question mark here. So I don't know what maybe off the field issues Williams is going through, but nonetheless, Sanford's going to take shots, it seems, here, as Josh Williams is apparently a big target on Coach Wolf's board now. The athlete, Samson Stratton, one of the fan favorites, I believe, this season. We've heard a lot from the viewers at home about Samson Stratton. He visited last week, and he had a very, very positive visit. A lot of people are expecting him to commit sooner rather than later, seeming that it's all Sanford and there's no way any other school could pop back up here in his mind from the looks of things. Another name, of course, to keep in mind is the young athlete out of Martinsville, Virginia, Marvin Clark. He is looked at as mainly a quarterback and possibly a corner, but his main skill set is at quarterback, so he could be a guy that joins that very crowded quarterback room. But we have a lot to talk about today when it comes to quarterback recruits, because it seems that question of who's going to play quarterback has now switched in to the recruiting part of things, as the number one quarterback in the nation, John Scott, is now getting interest from Sanford. Very similar to Williams, Scott has yet to get a scholarship offer from any big-name program. Once again, it must be off the field issues. I did look into Scott just a bit, and he has had some misconduct off the field. So there are some questions with Scott. However, I've seen the tape of this kid, and he is exactly what you want in a leader and a quarterback. Now, of course, those things off the field are a big issue, but it seems like this coaching staff, and I'll say it again, is willing to take some risks this year when it comes to recruiting. So John Scott now added to the board, the number one quarterback, and of course Jeremy Williams on the board from Eager, Arizona, the number 3 athlete in the nation. Williams, of course, another guy who could play quarterback, or Coach Wolf says he really likes him as a possible safety. So a good position either way for Jeremy Williams, where he could see early playtime, especially at safety with Jason Turner leaving at the end of the season. Joe Baker, the running back at Chicago, Illinois, visited last week, and he had a very, very productive visit. He did not sign like a lot of people thought. According to what I know, he stated that he wanted to head back home. He wanted to talk it over with his family. But it sounds like a decision should be made this week or next. I don't think we'll be waiting long to see Joe Baker commit to Sanford by any means. Now, the other players on the board, a lot of question marks. There's Pat Lewis, the athlete out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. And along with all these other players we talked about that have very few scholarships, he's right there with them. Pat is a receiver, obviously, by trade. And he wants to stay close to home from everything I've heard. And he badly wants to be in Oklahoma. I don't know if they want him. That's the giant question mark there. Antonio Perkins, the tight end, he will be visiting later on this year from the sounds of things. But he is still looking at Oregon State. So looking at that West Coast from the looks of everything is Albert Lynch, the middle linebacker, who started taking interest into Sanford. Right now, Sanford not very high on his board from what I know. Schools like Iowa, Washington, and Texas A&M stand tall. And finally, Wayne Nobles, the tackle out of, I'm going to try this, Lahaina, Hawaii. So, when we talk about this kid, let me just put this straight. The coaching staff knows they need to fix that offensive line. And they want talented linemen no matter what position they play. Well, that's the situation with Wayne Nobles here. He is a very strong young man who can play that left tackle spot extremely well. But that's about it. He's a one-trick pony. He is a left tackle and nothing more, at least from the point of view of the coaching staff. So that's going to be a giant question mark going forward, I think, with Wayne Nobles out of Hawaii. Now let's get to the big news when it comes to recruiting this year, and that is there are some commitments to Sanford. Defensive end Shea Faraday has committed, the young pass rusher. We knew about him early on in the season, and we all really were kind of excited for Faraday, setting sack records at school this year. It's huge for Sanford to get this. He's not that extremely quick-footed pass rusher, but he's that guy that's going to beat you. He's going to fight you, and he's going to beat whoever he's up against. So that's going to be fun to watch this year, especially with how powerful that D-line already is. The punter problem is solved as Jean-Paul Valley, the punter at New York, will be coming to Sanford. So there are the punter problems out of the way. Sammy Carter can graduate in peace knowing that his position will be filled next season by the freshman. And, well, in my opinion, that gives them another huge weapon now on special teams. You already have the big leg of Jackson Stone. Now you're going to have Jean-Paul Valley, who from all the tape I've seen can do whatever you ask him. And that's more than just booting the ball away. And finally, the last recruit we're talking about today that has committed is Gordon Sutton, the 5'9 corner. This is the guy that a lot of people didn't see committing here this week. They thought maybe it would happen, but they didn't want to believe it. Well, he did commit, so there is some more depth now at that cornerback position with Richard Cruz leaving and Ronnie Hansen. So that's a big plus there. Players of the week, it's Miami of Ohio's Nate Trawick, the defensive tackle who had a big day against Bowling Green, and Tom Flacco, the senior quarterback out of Western Michigan after a big win over Akron. But the bigger talk is all about one thing and one thing only, and that is the MAC conference standings. Right now it's not even a three-man race. It's a two-man race for the East. Miami of Ohio and Sanford. That's about it. With that, it really comes down to conference games at this point. There's nothing stopping them. It's all conference games, and Sanford just needs to win out. I'll say that right now. If Sanford can win out, they can win the East, and they will take another opportunity to win a MAC title. They need to win out. Plain and simple. Or Miami of Ohio needs to lose one, and it will offer some safety for Sanford. But the games this week, you got Sanford at Northern Illinois, of course, Akron at Bowling Green, Ohio at Miami of Ohio, UTEP at Western Michigan, Toledo at Eastern Michigan, Ball State at Kent, and Central Michigan at Notre Dame. But let's talk about the only important one to us, and that is Sanford at NIU. The Northern Illinois Huskies have become Sanford's dreaded rival here in the MAC ever since they stepped foot. It's a 2-1 record. Northern Illinois holding the record here over Sanford after last year's MAC championship loss to NIU. It's going to be a fun one, I would assume at least. These teams never seem to have an easy matchup against each other, so I feel it's going to be a fight to the very end with these two. And I'm expecting NIU to be just as tough as they always have been, and I'm expecting Sanford's defense to be just as vicious as they've always been this season and try and take out whoever they need to get this W in hand. And a key component, of course, is going to be watching Tanner Patrick and the offense, as that NIU defense has been stingy in the past. And let's talk about the players we're going to be watching on the NIU side. Ryan Graham, the senior quarterback, going to be a guy to watch a lot. They don't throw the football a lot at NIU unless they're down. So it's going to be a lot of Graham running. We saw plenty of that last year. We're probably going to see a lot more of it this year in this weekend's game. So expect a lot of Ryan Graham taking that football and really trying to take off with it. And he's got an extra boost at running back now this year in Tommy Mister. Mister is a pain in the backside for Sanford, as he is a powerful guy and he's not going to make you forget it. So Mister has been an issue for Sanford before when he's got the football in his hands, and that's just going to happen more so this year. He's already got 8 rushing touchdowns on the season. I'm not going to say he's going to get more this year, but I could definitely see this week him grabbing another one. On the defensive side, there is Jawan Johnson, the linebacker that we got to watch out for. This guy's a sure tackler. He'll be really just trying to zone the field, I feel. But he can get to the quarterback when need be, and he can pick off the quarterback if they throw it in his direction. So it's going to be an issue if that ball ends anywhere near Jawan Johnson. This team just has to play smart. They got to make sure they don't make those big mistakes to cost them the ball game like they have in the past against NIU. Just play smart, play safe, and just do exactly what you need to get the W. I think it's no better left to end with Jalen Embry, the senior corner, who in the 3 games we've watched, and I've gotten the pleasure to call, of NIU versus Sanford, this man has been the ultimate pain. I believe he has gotten an interception in all 3 ball games, and I believe he has been arguably the toughest corner for any Sanford quarterback. So keep your eyes on Embry, because he's going to be on her fellows all day. Number 29 is going to be the guy to watch. He's going to be the guy to keep your eye on, and he is going to be the guy to make sure and hope that Tanner Patrick doesn't throw it towards. He's the biggest weapon on that defense, and we're probably going to see a lot of him. I got a feeling about that. That's all the time we've got for this week's edition of the Howler, folks. It's a big fight feel this week. Big fight feel as NIU will host the Sanford Coyotes in what has become a big rivalry game here in the MAC. We will see you folks this Saturday for the rivalry game. Hello, Sanford. You are listening to the Sanford Sports Radio, and it is time. as I am your man only called Jonathan West, and we are here in Husky Stadium for the big rivalry game here in the MAC for Sanford, as it is Sanford, the Sanford College Coyotes, facing the Northern Illinois University Huskies in a big MAC conference game. I talked about plenty in the Howler. It is 2-1 here in this feud's all-time record books in IU, with the 2 to Sanford's 1 here. But Sanford looking to get a big win here today and to really just tie up the game and maybe take this once again to another MAC championship game for another grudge match. I can totally see that happening this year. But it's going to be a tough one, as of course the Sanford offense has not looked the sharpest and the defense has had to come back to win them games really. So we'll see if the offense can find their footing early and really be able to keep it, or if it's going to have to be a defensive ball game altogether here for this Sanford football team, as NIU is getting ready to play. Sanford on the sidelines getting all set. They have flipped. And it is just about time to get ready to go here, folks, as we are underway. This one is gone, and that's Sam Moore to return, as Sanford going to get the football here to begin, as that's a 17-yard return up to about the 20-yard line. As Tanner Patrick under center here in the I form. They go flea flicker right off the bat. That's one interesting way to start a football game. And it was thrown right at Renard Sharon. Not the smartest throw by Patrick whatsoever, off of a flea flicker to begin. 2nd and 10, they go to Claude Fleming on the ground. Gets a short 2 yards, but nonetheless it's a gain, making it 3rd and 8 here. As Patrick out of the shotgun, looking for his intended target, finds Fleming. He powers through one would-be tackler, and that will be enough for the first. Gain of 13 on that one, is without Fleming's power game there, they don't get a first down. 1st and 10 under center is Patrick, as he's going to hand off to Tyrone Jennings, who checked in. That's going to be a loss of 2, as he tripped over his offensive lineman there. And that's what brought him down from the looks of things. As Patrick to throw here on 2nd and 12, and it's picked off by Brinson Jr. And that was tight coverage by NIU, and really it's just a clear-cut tight coverage. He's able to find the ball before Dingle can, and easy interception as NIU takes over in great field position as Ryan Graham on the run. He pitched off to Tommy Mister, and that's going to be an 11-yard gain, enough for the first down. 1st and 10, Mister the man in motion, as Graham's going to give it off to Milton, the second back. That's going to be a gain of 3 for Dwayne Milton. I said they were going to keep it on the ground during the Howler earlier this week, and that's what it looks like. It's a handoff to the fullback. That is Bowling, as Harvey Bowling gains 3. This option offense doing what you expect from an option offense. 3rd and 5. Graham drops back. He's going to throw a screen here to Tommy Mister, and that's going to be just enough for the first down. Got taken down really right at the mark. 1st and 10 as the man in motion, and Graham's got running room, gets a block by, I believe that was Dwayne Milton. 14-yard touchdown run for Ryan Graham, as NIU will draw first blood here this week. And that's the last thing Sanford needed. They gave up the football with an interception, and NIU capitalized. 1st and 10 now for Sanford as they go to the screen game. That's Tyrone Jennings, and he's going to get a 6-yard reception off of that one. Found a little bit of a hole, but it closed quite quickly. He was lucky to get 6. As 2nd and 4 handoff goes to Claude Fleming. He's going to get just about enough, but they will call him inches short. I've got a feeling we'll see Fleming stay in this ball game. 3rd and inches. Jennings checked in, but they go option as Patrick slides down to save himself from a big hit. That's a big first down, though, at near the 45. First and 10. Patrick looks to throw. He connects with her fellows, and that will go in to NIU territory. They have entered Husky field of play now. As first and 10, handoff. No, it's play action here. Patrick to throw, and that one just comes out of his hands as he takes a big shot there. The fell incomplete, so it's second and 10. Handoff goes to Claude Fleming, and that's going to be a 4-yard gain. Nothing much going here on the ground early at least. 3rd and 6 coming up. 3rd and 6, it's a handoff out of the full house, and that's surprising. They go to the run instead of the pass on 3rd, and that is a loss of one by Antonio Jones-Davis, the man who made the tackle. As Sammy Carter just boots it away, and that's a nice one out of bounds. That's going to be out at around, I believe, the 10-yard line. NIU now pinned deep in their own territory. They got to make something happen if they want a chance at keeping this lead going. As Graham going to take off, he's going to pitch it out to Tommy Mister. He's caught, though, before he can make too much out of it. It's only going to be a gain of 4. Jason Turner, I believe, was the man on the tackle. 2nd and 6 as Graham hands off to Dwayne Milton, but he goes nowhere. Maybe half a yard, but that's about the most he got out of that. It's 3rd and 6, and Graham looks like he's going to throw. He connects with Ferguson over the middle. That's going to be enough for the first down. 8-yard reception there for the Huskies as this first quarter is starting to come to a close. Less than 40 seconds left in the first quarter. Is down goes Graham. They wanted a power option, but Graham brought down by Shane Townsend, and that will be a loss of 2 there as Sanford's defense comes through on that play. Under 20 seconds left in the first quarter as Tommy Mister, the man in motion. Handoff goes to Harvey Bowling, and it's going to be a gain of 6 for NIU. That's going to set up a manageable 3rd down when we come back, as that's the end of the first quarter. NIU up 7-0 early here in this ball game as you are listening to Sanford Sports Radio. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sanford Sports Radio. I am Jonathan West at 7-0 NIU as Graham quickly stutter steps and starts running forward. I'm not sure what was up with that, but nonetheless, it is a tackle short of the marker, just inches. As 4th and inches, it'll be a punt to Patrick Jackson, and Jackson's got the ball in his hands. He's got room too. Past the 50 and near the 40-yard line. That'll be down and out at around the 42-yard line of NIU. A great 33-yard return by Patrick Jackson sets them up well, as that handoff there to Claude Fleming on first down doesn't go anywhere. A loss of 1. Fleming was wrapped up immediately. 2nd and 11 as Patrick looks to throw. He's rolling out here. Tries to throw on the run, but it just gets out of his hand as he takes a shot, once again falling incomplete. 3rd and long now with 3rd and 11. It's Patrick to throw, and he overshoots his intended target. And that was Duran Costello, who he wanted, as Sammy Carter's going to have to boot this one again. And it is a great punt, as that'll be out at around the 8-yard line now. Now down inside the 10 are the Huskies as Ryan Graham pitches it off to Tommy Mister. A great stiff arm on Pat Riley, and Mister's got running room. 35-40 up to around the 44-45 yard line. A hell of a run by Tommy Mister there. He got the pitch in one stiff arm. They're showing the replay here in the den. And that is, here in Husky Stadium. Forgot we weren't at home for a second there. But they showed the replay and a hell of a stiff arm by Mister. As 2nd down, it's a big hit by Deshaun Hollis. This kid's had a good season this year. A nice sophomore boost to his already solid freshman year. 2nd and 14 is down goes Graham. He is brought down quickly as that was a big hit by a number of defenders. Deshaun Hollis, one of the men in there. 3rd and 14, Graham to throw. He throws on the run right before he could get hit, and Parchment just makes it to the marker. You have got to be kidding me. That's as close as it gets. He got pushed out of bounds, but extended that ball over the mark. It's another set of downs for NIU. This defense can't seem to find a way to stop Northern Illinois, as Ferguson with the catch here on 1st down. That is going to be a gain of 1. As Graham continues to lead this offense with ease. 2nd and 9 now. Graham under center. He's going to drop back again. We're seeing him throw a little more than normal as Graham takes off and is brought down by James Bryant. A big gain, though, of 6. That's going to set up 3rd and very manageable. As though there seem to be jumping on the line, and that's going to move them back. 3rd and manageable turns into nearly 3rd and long as it becomes 3rd and 7 now. NIU back in that option set as it looks like Graham's going to take off. Indeed he will, but he takes a shot from Trey McLaughlin, the senior linebacker, not playing nice here today. As Sanford takes back over, and it is a 4-yard carry here on 1st down by Claude Fleming. As with just over 3 minutes left, Sanford is going to get time to drive here. As Jennings again on the screen, and this time he gains enough for the 1st down. Conveniently another 6-yard gain. 1st and 10, Patrick on the run here as there is a flag, and he'll just throw that one away. It was an encroachment penalty, so that will give Sanford 5 yards. Antonio Jones-Davis, the man who is called for it. 1st and 5 now as Fleming gets the handoff, and he's going to take it right up the gut for a gain of 11. That's another nice run there for Fleming. As 1st and 10 now with just under 2.5 left to go in this first half. Down goes Tyrone Jennings. A loss of 2 as Jones-Davis makes up for the encroachment there. 2nd and 12. Patrick going to drop back and roll out again. He's going to take off and call his own number. That's going to be a gain of 9. Setting up a manageable 3rd and 3 now for Sanford. 3rd and 3. Handoff goes on an end around to Rob Thomas. Didn't expect that on 3rd down. That's a gain of 5 and enough for the 1st. As 1st and 10, 5 wide set. Patrick connects with Deron Costello this time. The same play that he overshot him last. And that is a 13-yard gain and enough for the 1st. As Patrick on 1st down connects with Tremaine Dingle on the crossing pattern. A 12-yard reception and a new set of downs as Sanford takes their first time out. And now the option here on 1st down is Patrick fighting down to around the 1-yard line. A 16-yard gain on the option, nearly into the end zone. When Sanford, they're now at 1st and goal from the 2. Handoff to Fleming. Fleming gets a block into the end zone. Touchdown Sanford. As they have tied this ball game up, Claude Fleming gets a big rushing touchdown. He needed that. As 7 seconds left in this game, Ryan Graham going to make what he can out of it. It looks like he's going to make a lot happen here as past midfield out at about the 44, maybe 42-yard line. 1 second left, so there will be no field goal here. So Graham just going to toss it up, and it is batted away. No good. That will take us to the end of this half. It's all tied up at 7 apiece, as you would expect. A tight ball game here in Northern Illinois. Sanford 7, Northern Illinois 7. Your second half is up after this. You're listening to the Sanford Sports Radio. Welcome back, folks, to Sanford Sports Radio. The second half just beginning here as Graham takes off on the run in IU with football, as it is a 2-yard run for Graham. 2nd and 8 here as this Sanford defense looks ready to go, and there's some movement on that offensive line again, as that will move them back 5 yards already. Make this, I believe, 2nd and 13. As this defense once again looks ready to go, they're going to bring the pressure, and it works out. Bryant right through that offensive line. Down went Graham hard, and that'll be a loss of 2. As James Bryant just sprinted right through. That was insane. As 3rd and 15, some more pressure was coming in from Pat Riley as he nearly got to Graham in time. But that will be a 7-yard reception for Tommy Mister. Not enough, though, for the first. As it's back to Sanford football, Jennings on the carry. That's going to be a gain of 8. A nice carry there for Tyrone Jennings as this 1-2 punt to the Coyotes continues. Another handoff to Jennings as he stays in the ball game, and that's going to be another nice gain. Big first down there as Jennings starting to finally have a stat sheet with some positive yards. As 1st and goal handoff goes to Claude Fleming. He broke off of one would-be tackle, and that's going to be a gain of 7. What should have been maybe a gain of nothing or even a loss of 1 turns into 7. 2nd and 3, play action from Patrick. He's going to roll out a bit, and he throws it extremely late in the vicinity of, I believe, Duran Costello, and it's picked off by Jalen Embry. That was extremely late. By the time he had thrown that, Embry was already in position to make a play. He had time earlier, and I'm sorry, that was Tremaine Dingle, the intended target. But I don't know why he waited so long to throw that. As 1st and 10 here now for NIU's back on the offensive side of the football. It is a 10-yard rush for Harvey Bowling after the pitch went his way. As Graham on the run here on 1st down, he's finally chased down by Trevor and Bryant. Dylan Trevor, the man who brought him down there. As 1st and 10, Graham once again pitches off to Tommy Mister. Mister fights through Flash Gibson. He trips a bit over him, but Trevor finishes the job. As Dylan Trevor with another big tackle on the day. 2nd and 9 now as time continues to tick. Graham tries an option. This time it doesn't work because that is James Bryant again. Bryant comes right through. Big day for the young linebacker. As McLaughlin even came in to help a bit as it's 3rd and 11. Graham drops back. Looks to throw towards the sideline, and if he had had a foot in bounds, that would have been a 5th interception by Richard Cruz. As Patrick to throw here on 1st and 10 as Sanford's got the football back. It was a play action and a great 27-yard strike to Rob Thomas over the middle. That is a huge play and a huge momentum boost, I would hope, for Tanner Patrick there. As Claude Fleming gets the handoff on 2nd down, it's a loss of 1. Jawan Johnson, the man who was on the tackle. We talked about him plenty in the Howler. 2nd and 11 here now as Patrick takes off on an option of his own, and that's going to be a gain of 7. As that's going to set up a more manageable 3rd and 4 here. Back in the full house they go as Patrick rolling out. Throwing, and he lobs it up, and that is just easy pickings for Fields. He shouldn't have gone with the lob. That's the main thing. Lobbing that thing up just screamed for an interception as Jacob Fields was right there to jump on it. It's been a tough day now here for Patrick. That is interception number 3 on the day. Luckily, this defense has been playing hard-nosed today. As Graham pitches off, and there's Richard Cruz all over Dwayne Melton. He didn't have anywhere to go. A loss of 2 on that one. This defense has looked extremely sharp today, and if they can keep this up, the offense may not have to worry about the mistakes they've already made. 2nd and 12. As Graham under center. He's letting time expire here as Graham finally takes the snap, and he tries to take off for the option, but McLaughlin right there to grab him by the ankle. As Jason Turner was also there to try and make a play, but he didn't get all of it. It was mainly McLaughlin. It's 3rd and 12. There's a deflection by Cruz. He wasn't able to get in good enough position for a pick, but a nice deflection nonetheless. 1st and 10. Handoff goes to Fleming, and Fleming gets a nice 5-yard gain. I hope they keep this ball on the ground now. A lot of fans have been talking about how they want to see more from the running game as a throw here to Fleming on 2nd and 5. That will be a big 16-yard first down, and that will be the end of the 3rd quarter by all extent. So it's still tied up after we've played 3. 7-7, Sanford, Northern Illinois, nobody willing to budge. You're listening to Sanford Sports Radio. Your 4th quarter is up after this. Welcome back, folks. Sanford Sports Radio. The final quarter of play is just getting underway. Here is Tyrone Jennings with the handoff. It will be a gain of 3. And that play right there puts the Coyotes over 100 yards rushing today. 2nd and 7 as the handoff goes to Fleming. He's fighting, and he fights for that first down. That is a gain of 8. And right there shows you why this coaching staff loves him as a workhorse-style back. 1st and 10 is play action here. Patrick to throw. Open downfield. Duran Costello, 22 yards. That's a big play this passing attack needed, as they had to kind of wait for it, but they got it nonetheless. As a 1st and 10 now in Stone field goal range. As Fleming gets another handoff, it's going to be a 5-yard gain here as he took a shot. 2nd and 5, handoff goes to Tyrone Jennings, and he won't get much. Maybe a yard, maybe half a yard, I'm not sure what they'll call it, but not much going there for Tyrone Jennings. Fleming checks in on 3rd down, and they go to the play action, but Patrick calls his own number, and it's an 8-yard gain on the ground. The ground game has been working. They need to stick to this for the rest of this ball game, if you ask me. The handoff goes to Fleming, and it's only a 1-yard gain there as he is bottled up by Charon. 2nd and 9 under center is Tanner Patrick. That'll be a handoff to Tyrone Jennings as Jennings gains 3. He took a big shot on that one. Shoulder came right in on him. 3rd and 6, Patrick looks to throw. He connects with Tyrone Jennings near the flats, and that's going to be a gain of 10, enough for a new set of downs, and they are down at the 2-yard line. 1st and goal. Play action. Patrick avoids 1 sack, but gets bottled up by a number of Huskies. Jawan Johnson going to get credited for that sack, but it was just really, he avoided the first, and just there were too many guys there to avoid anything more, or even get the ball off, I think, in time. 2nd and goal now as they are in their pistol formation, but bottled up is Tanner Patrick as he tried to take off. Another loss, this time of 3 yards. Quentin Wine on the tackle there. As that's a huge loss. 3rd and goal now from the 11. As Patrick has to throw at this point. He's going to roll out, throws on the run, connects with Duran Costello, but he'll be 2 yards short. 4th and goal, folks, and the offense is still out on the field. Pitch goes out to Claude Fleming. He doesn't get the 1 block he needs, and that will turn the ball over at about the 6. They go to the toss to the outside. It doesn't work out. It's in IU football at about the 3-yard line is where they're calling it, as Harvey Bowling goes nowhere. He'll lose a yard there. Elliott Flowers, the big senior defensive tackle, just right there to bring him down. 2nd and 11. A minute and a half remains as Dwayne Milton carries that one. That'll be a gain of around 5 as Sanford takes their first time out. 3rd and 6. Milton with the handoff again. He'll go down, though, right at the line. Deshaun Hollis there to make the tackle, and it will be Sanford football. They have it in great field position as Patrick takes off, and they are in, I think, Jackson Stone field goal range. One play is all it took. It would be around maybe a 42-yard field goal from here. Handoff goes to Tyrone Jennings. He'll get a little bit closer. Gain of 3. Make that about a 39-yard field goal now. They're definitely in Stone's field goal range. Handoff, Tyrone Jennings, as that is a gain of 2. And I got a feeling it's time to call on the freshman. Indeed it is. Kick is up. And it is good! Sanford takes it in the last seconds with a Jackson Stone field goal. NIU tried to ice the young man, but when his last name's Stone, he's already as stone cold as you can get. I don't think icing him's going to help you at all. The kid has the focus to sit there and make the game-winning field goal in arguably one of the biggest games he's going to play this year against NIU, because this game means a lot to these kids out there in those jerseys. They get the big W. 10-7. It was a defensive war between these two teams. No high-scoring affair here. A Jackson Stone field goal caps it all off after a big day on the ground for both teams just running the football. But what a way to come back at least. The offense made a lot of mistakes, especially Patrick, but the defense held strong. They held off NIU. They got the opportunity back for the offense, and the offense just running the football made things happen. Maybe that shows they need to run the football a lot more, hopefully. And I hope Coach Darren Wolf is taking notes on that. As once again, your final from Husky Stadium in Illinois, it is 10-7 Sanford victory, and that is amazing. Thank you, folks, for joining us here on the Sanford Sports Radio. I am Jonathan West, and I will see you folks next week for more Sanford football.